Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some enchiladas. I saw another YouTuber make them this way and I was super interested, so I wanted to try it out. It is kind of just like layering the enchiladas on a plate, and I think it worked out really well. So here I am just chopping up my vegetables. I'm just going to chop up some yellow onion and some jalapenos. So after I cooked my chicken in my Instant Pot, I cooked about 2 to 3 chicken breasts. I'm just going to shred them up. I did season lightly before I went in the Instant Pot, but I will season again. So next I'm going to begin sauteing my vegetables. So to my pan I added a little bit of oil, and this is on medium high. I just added in my onion and my jalapenos, and I'm just going to saute these around until they become nice and soft. I still want a little bit of a bite to these, so I won't cook them until they're too soggy. So next I just added in some minced garlic. You always need to add some garlic to your onion, and this is the best smell in the world. So I'm just going to stir that around, make sure everything's nice and coated. And then I'm taking that shredded chicken and adding it to the pan. I'm going to mix everything together. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of the red enchilada sauce that I'm using. Next, I'm going to add like half a cup of water, and I'm going to add back more seasonings. I'm just using all my favorite Mexican seasonings like the taco seasoning, cumin, onion powder, and some garlic salt. I also added in 1 teaspoon of the chicken bouillon seasoning, and I'm just going to bring this liquid up to a boil. That way the chicken will start absorbing a lot of that liquid and becoming nice and soft. I'm also going to add a little bit of chili powder. So again, I just have this set on like medium high. I'm bringing it up to a boil, and then I'm just going to kind of let the chicken do its thing. I work on shredding it a little bit better. So next I'm just going to put a lid on it and let it sit for a couple minutes. Really let that chicken soften and absorb that liquid. So I'm just going to work on breaking apart the chicken. I kind of want nice little shreds for my enchiladas. I did miss a clip, but I added in some sour cream and some shredded Monterey Jack cheese, so this made it like a nice cheesy chicken mixture. I definitely think this was a game changer. So next I'm going to work on warming up my enchilada sauce. So I just poured a little bit in and added a bit of water to help dilute it and kind of thin it out. Just going to bring this up to a nice simmer, just kind of get the enchilada sauce nice and hot. So it's kind of just like layering. Just want to get the tortilla nice and soft in the enchilada sauce, and then I'm just kind of layering the chicken, some queso fresco, and doing the same thing over and over. I did 3 layers, and this was my husband's. You may have to keep bringing the pan back on the heat. That's what I had to do because the enchilada sauce wasn't too warm. So this is the last layer, so I just topped it with the tortilla, more queso fresco, and then I topped it with some shredded lettuce. I love the lettuce. I love a nice crunch for my Mexican food. This is how everything looked when it was done. So good, and I can't wait to make this again. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some Korean Gochujang Chicken. Probably pronouncing that horribly, but I saw this on Pinterest, so I wanted to give it a try. So first I'm starting out with the sauce. I'm just adding in some soy sauce and the gochujang sauce, so I'm just going to mix that together. It is like a sweet and spicy sauce. So next I'm going to add a little bit of water. I like to do this for my sauces. It just helps create more sauce, but also dilute all of those flavors. I did add a tablespoon of sugar because sugar is needed for a lot of Asian recipes. That's what gives it that nice coating and flavor. So next I'm just going to work on chopping up my yellow onion. I'm just going to dice these into kind of strips. And then next I'm going to work on my chicken. I am using chicken breast for this recipe. I just prefer chicken breast. There's less fatty tissue on it. I'm very weird with meat already, so chicken thighs kind of gross me out when they're too chewy, but this recipe probably would be good with some chicken thighs. So I'm just going to cut up my chicken breast into small bite-sized pieces, just like the sizes that you would get from a normal Asian restaurant. So I'm just going to lightly season with some salt and toss that together, and then I'm going to add a coating of some cornstarch. So I'm just going to lightly toss some cornstarch onto the chicken and kind of coat that around. Add as much as you need. It is just like a nice little breading for the chicken. This just helps give that chicken a little bit of a crunch. So next I just added a little bit of oil to a pan. I'm not going to deep fry these, I'm just going to pan fry them. Works kind of the same way, just less oil. So I just laid out one batch of the chicken. You don't want to overcrowd the pan, otherwise it won't cook or get crispy. So I'm just going to toss that around. I do have my pan set on medium high. You want it pretty high, that way the chicken will get that nice exterior on it, but be careful because the oil does splatter. So I just cooked this for a couple minutes on each side, and I'm just tossing it around with this slotted spoon. As you can see, it starts to become nice and brown. You want that nice brown coating, so definitely set your pan a little bit higher. So once they were done, I just removed it to a drying rack. So next I just started with my second batch. I think I had 3 batches in total. So I'm just going to do the same thing for this chicken, have it nice and high, and you want to get that nice brown coating. So once I removed all of the chicken to the same pan with the leftover oil, I'm going to add in my yellow onions. Now I brought this down to about medium heat and I'm just going to saute these around until they become nice and soft. You can definitely add more vegetables to this if you'd like. I bet that would be amazing with some like bell peppers. So next I'm going to add in my sauce that I made. I just had this set aside and I have my pan still set on about medium. You kind of want the sauce to be able to cook and simmer a little bit. That's how it thickens up. I did add some cornstarch to the sauce as well. So as you see, it just becomes nice and thick and kind of syrup-like, and that's when you want to add back your chicken. So I'm just going to toss that chicken in all of the sauce. I definitely could have added more sauce, but now I know next time to kind of just double the sauce. I would love it to have more. So I did just cook some white rice on the side and we just served it with a little side salad. This is how everything looked when it was done. So good. Love a nice Asian chicken and rice. The last dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a ground beef quesadilla for my husband because I was going out to dinner with a friend. This is so simple, but he absolutely loves it. So I just took some leftover ground beef that I had frozen and unthawed, and I just added it to a medium hot pan. You don't even need any oil because this has a lot of grease. So I'm just going to let this cook up on medium heat. I love when I have leftover meat because this was like the perfect amount. So once it was done, I drained the excess grease and then I took a paper towel to kind of help dab the remainder. Next, I'm just going to season with all of my favorite Mexican spices, taco seasoning, cumin, onion powder, garlic salt. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a toss, but I'm also going to add a little bit of water and some beef bouillon powder. The smell of this is so like nostalgic to just ground beef tacos. Definitely add as much seasoning as you need. I added a little bit more taco seasoning. So once this was done, I went ahead and made the quesadilla. This was such a simple and easy, quick dinner. So to the pan, I just added in some Monterey Jack cheese. He loves his quesadillas nice and cheesy and thick. So I just added in a nice layer and then spooned some of the ground beef on top and then topped it again with a little bit more Monterey Jack cheese. So then I just covered it and I put a lid on it. The lid kind of just helps trap the heat and really make sure the cheese inside gets melted. Once it was nice and brown on the one side, after a couple minutes, I went ahead and flipped it. I'm a pro with flipping quesadillas now. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just topped it with some more of that queso fresco, sour cream, and lettuce. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.